Well, hello YouTubers. I'm here in my shop on a rainy afternoon in April, early April, here in North Carolina. And as a lot of you guys know, I build electric and acoustic guitars, mostly acoustic, and I do a lot of repair work for different types of stringed instruments, but mostly on acoustic guitars. And in front of me today, I have a customer's Blue Ridge guitar who I'm going to put a K&K Pure Mini pickup into it, and I'm also going to restring it when I'm done and do a setup. He bought a bone saddle and a bone nut and was going to try to do it himself and had a little bit of trouble with it, so he brought it in to me to complete the job, and I'm going to take care of that. But actually, that's not why I'm here to talk to you guys today. If you remember a few weeks back, maybe three weeks, a month ago, I bought a new Ram 1500 Classic, and I put a back Revolver X2 tonneau cover on. So I had turned my shop into an auto shop at that point in time. I had to come in and adjust the bed rails to get it on the truck properly. And today, I've actually turned my shop into a small engine repair shop. I, until recently, literally knew nothing about small engine repair. So let me give you a little bit of background on what it is that I did. I hope this video ends up being useful to somebody out there. About 12 years ago, and I was living in a different property at the time, I bought a Toro personal pace self-propelled lawnmower because I had a fairly significant slope on our front yard, and it wasn't a large front yard, so I really couldn't use the riding mower on it, and it was difficult to push the darn push mower that I had up the hill, so I bought this personal pace, and it's a nice mower. It worked perfectly for the what I was working on. Oh, here comes my wife. She's going to interrupt my video, and I'm going to have to cut this part out, but I'll get back to you in a second. She got what she needed. What I was saying is this mower worked really good to mow that front yard of mine, get it up and down the hill. And it worked really good for about, I'm going to say 8 years or so. But about 4 seasons ago, we had moved and we were living in a different property, and I really didn't need to use it as much, but I had no reason really to get rid of it. But it wouldn't start for me at the beginning of the season. And so I just kind of didn't pay any attention to it. Like I said, I wasn't using it that much, so I just kind of stuck it under the cover at our shed and let it sit there. And then 3 seasons ago, I decided that I needed to do something with it. So I brought it into a guy to see if he could get it started for me and do the work that was necessary. And I paid him like $100 or so to get it done. Well, it started at his shop for me, and I was happy, and I took it home. I started it up, and I mowed about 20 feet, and it stopped, and I couldn't get it started again. I was wondering what the heck was going on. I pulled the spark plug out and never even changed the spark plug. It was just shot. So I put a new spark plug in it, and it started up once, mowed about 35 feet and stopped. So I said, the heck with this. I stuck it back under the shed and didn't use it again the next season. Last year, I decided I've got to get this thing fixed. So I brought it to a different guy. Told him the problems that I was having with it. Told him about the guy that I brought it to the season before. He said no problem, he could get it fixed. I paid him $125. I might have brought something else in with it, so it might not have been quite that much, but close to it, I guess. And got back to the shop. He started it up for me. I loaded it up on the truck. I was happy. I got home. I started it right up. I went about 20 feet and it stopped. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I took it back to him, told him what kind of problem I was having, and he primed it for me, got it started again, stopped it, and asked me to start it. I tried pulling on it. I could not start that thing. I pulled the handle, wouldn't start. He primed it, gave it a pull, and started it right up. He said, I think you're too weak to start this mower. And I was like, oh man, I have really gotten old. So I was like, doggone. I just loaded it up and took it home. And decided that the battery had been dead on it for years, so I bought a new battery. I said, if I'm going to start this mower, I'm going to need the electric start to work for it. So I bought a new battery, took it out of the box when it came, loaded it up, started the mower right up with the new battery. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I guess I am a darn old weakling now. Mowed about 35 feet, and it stopped. I was like, well, you son of a, you know what I was saying. I can't repeat it here. So, anyway, I thought, what is going on with these things? So I started looking at YouTube videos. And I found some YouTube videos on Tecumseh mowers. And I started looking at the different problems, non-starting problems that were going on with it. And eventually, what I ended up doing was I took the bowl off the bottom, and it's got a little bowl nut. It has 4 little jet holes in it because the nut is also the jet, part of the jet system. I cleaned those out. They were clogged. One was clogged solid. I didn't even know the hole was even there. I thought, wow, mine looks different than the ones that are online. But eventually I wire brushed it off, and I actually found where the pinhole was, and I cleaned that out. So obviously that was never done by the people that supposedly knew how to do this work. I cleaned that all up. I sprayed a little starter fluid in it, pulled the handle, wham, started right up. I said, wow, this is great. So I was really proud of myself. I said, I think I fixed the problem. Put the muffler back on it, got it all hooked up, primed it, went to start it, nothing. I was like, ah. So I went back down and I pulled the muffler back off, and got down on my hands and knees and looked in there with a flashlight as I was priming it, and I couldn't see any gas coming out. Well, I had found one of the videos that talked about on the Tecumseh, and this is a Tecumseh engine that's on here. One of the videos talked about this one little screw that helps hold the plate for the muffler, that needs to be screwed in while it's being primed. Well, I had it screwed in, so I knew that wasn't the problem. So I'm thinking to myself, well, I guess I need a new primer bulb. So I wasn't really sure which one to get. And I actually ordered 3 different bulbs and was still not convinced that I had the right one. I ordered it and canceled it, ordered it and canceled it, ordered it and canceled it. No kidding. 3 times on Amazon I ordered this darn thing and canceled it. And then I started looking at the motor. I started looking up the serial numbers and everything else. And I found out what type my engine was. And then I found there was a number next to the engine. And that was probably even more important than the actual engine number. Because it must have been some kind of a part number. But I found out my carburetor was a little bit different than the others. And it had a little plastic piece in there. I don't know exactly what it does on a spring. And it's some kind of a plunger. And none of the bulbs that I had that. But I found the part number. And I ordered the kit that came with the primer bulb, the retainer spring or clip, and the little spring and the little valve, and pulled it out just like I saw on the YouTube videos. Put it back in and pumped it 3 times, and boy, I could see that gas coming out, and I knew I had it at that point in time. So I pumped it 2 or 3 times and pulled that handle. And man, that thing fired right up. I think probably the best thing I was happy about, is, as opposed to the mower starting, was the fact that I really wasn't as weak as this guy told me I was. Thank God for that anyways. But the whole time it really was just the job that was done on this thing. They just didn't do the work that they were supposed to do. And that's a little disconcerting, when you pay a couple $100 and $100 to 2 different people 2 different times, and they still can't get the problem done. You can go on YouTube and do it yourself. So anyways, that's my my video for the day. I hope I didn't bore anybody too much. But maybe if you've had the same problem that I had with the Tecumseh engine, you can do that as well. A second thing that I just wanted to point out about the mower too is I used seafoam. I ran seafoam through that thing, just like I saw on a couple of videos. And it smoked and chucked a little bit like it did before. And boy, I'll tell you, when I was done with that thing, that motor was purring. You couldn't hear it skip a beat. It was just running so good. I don't even know if it was running that good when I first bought it. It just sounded so smooth. But that's my video for today. Hope somebody out there can get some use out of this. Don't throw those mowers away. Get on YouTube and see some of the other videos that I was talking about that will tell you how to clean that carburetor up, how to clean those jets out, and do all the things that's necessary to clean that up and do it yourself and save yourself a whole bunch of grief and a whole bunch of money. Well, that's it. See you next time, and thanks for listening.